What's up, everybody? Today is a very exciting day. So behind me I have a bunch of boxes with a bunch of stuff in it, and behind that I have a 1993 Volvo 240. I've had this car for a few years. I've always wanted to get into drifting. Life takes you in other places though. I'm also not the most financially responsible. So here I am. I finally have checked off all the other things. I am married, I have my degree, I bought a house, I have a shop. Now it's time to frickin' drift. I'm done waiting, and I just want to slide at this point. So the car may not look like much right now, and that's because it's pretty much just stock. However, I'm a firm believer in the Volvo 240 platform. The 740s and 940s are cool, yeah, they're a little bit wider, a little bit better handling for what I'm intending to do with it, but the 240 has always been a dream car of mine. Yes, whatever. I have two now. I have one that's in really good condition, and I have this one. And this one I've had a lot of good memories in. I've spent a lot of time in it driving. I've burned a lot of tires off of it. Rebuilt the engine. I've done a lot of stuff to it, but I always thought, I wanted to keep it around for a drift build. So that's where we are today. When I rebuilt the engine, I had a lot of fun. It was my first engine rebuild solo. I've done it before. I've been a mechanic through mechanic school and things like that. I've worked in shops and everything, but on my own, totally all my responsibility. One little thing I forget, it could really haunt me. So it's a very simple engine. If you are trying to rebuild an engine, I highly suggest, if your first one should be a B230F. They are extremely simple. They're like Legos. It goes together very simply. The timing is a very simple system. The only thing that's aftermarket with the engine rebuild is just a K-cam. I put a K-cam in it because I got a good deal on one. Shout out to Ian Buchanan for that one. He got me a really good deal K-cam from his stock, which I imagine he has a lot of, and he had it to me in a few days. So shout out to you. Thank you. You are a G. The car definitely has all of the rust and appearance that you would expect from a 1993 Midwest vehicle. Down here, there's a little bit, not too bad. But I mean, the whole thing is just caked in surface rust, and I don't know, it's just, I don't really want to rely on it, and I want to replace everything. I'm sure the bushings are terrible. All right, let's see what's crapping in. Some little baby 185s for the back. They'll be at about 9 million PSI. Some fat boys for the front because that's what they all look like on YouTube. So I wanted to redo the entire braking system of the car, just because I don't really want to rely on what I'm sure is factory braking equipment, calipers and everything. So I went ahead and got everything that I need for the wheels themselves, including the brakes on the Hydro, the conversion for the front wheels, the bolt pattern. So what I got here, I have a couple rears, a couple vented fronts. I actually really like the machining on these. That's gorgeous if you ask me. Shout out to Parts Geek on that. 2 new front calipers, and you can tell these are the front ones because they have the dual ports there for non-ABS Volvos. It's a 93. So then I have 2 sets of rear calipers. You may ask why. So one set is for this foot brake as normal, and the other set is going to get plumbed up to the hydraulic handbrake. And so for that, all you need is this T adapter hose set. And what it does is it comes out of the brake reservoir on your hydraulic handbrake, and it goes through the frame, and one of each of these goes to the rear caliper for the handbrake. Easy enough. Now, in order to run a hydraulic handbrake, you need a set of these, and these are for a Dana 30. They're for this axle. Basically all they do is 2 of these holes go on the stock caliper bracket. Axle goes here, which gaps across and holds the other caliper, and you'll see that on the build. The conversions, these are actually really good quality. They're 10-9 grade, machined aluminum. They look really sharp. I'm not really too concerned about any strength issues with that. And then I did get all stainless hardware here from my local hardware store for the extra space that you'll need to mount the second caliper. So all of that is here, all the new pins and everything for the calipers, all the brakes, everything right here, brand new, ready to go. So inside this box is the meat and potatoes of this. This is from Classic Swede. This is about $1,500 worth of suspension parts for this car. Heavy duty everything, poly bushing everything, adjustable everything. But before we get into that, I did pick up a tie rod alignment tool for this car that's going to come in handy. Inside here I have lower control arm extensions. In order to keep the tie rods and everything straight, I'll also need to extend them. So this is a Moog EV332 inner tie rod. I believe they're for the 7 Series. What this is going to do, I have this one and another one coming on the way. I have the extensions in here from Classic Swede, but if they don't work, I'm going to use these. It's going to come down to a few millimeters, so I'm not really sure. Inside here I have some new Melee ball joints. I like those. Next to them I have some Melee tie rods. These are some spring retainers for the rear trailing arms on the lower side of the spring. That's going to, they look like ass, they're rusty and everything, they need to be replaced. And then I also have fuse kit. I have 2, I have another 240, but I got a new fuse kit just to run, make sure all my fans and everything, nothing's shorting out or anything, I don't got to worry about that. Now, let's get into this one. So we'll start at the top here. Inside here, yes, these are version 2 adjustable top hats with strengthening rings. Inside there is where the strut goes. These go on the top of the strut tower, and they'll give me some adjustability for my camber. Next we have these version 2 adjustable heavy duty torque rods with poly bushings. I went with these because I wanted to be able to put it all together and then adjust them while they're on the car. These are reverse threaded, so that allows that to happen. That way I can get my drive shaft angle and my pinion angle and everything correct once it's lowered and sitting on those tires and everything. Next, we have rear upper spring cap or hat number 1. Ooh, number 2. Very happy to see everything is packaged pretty well. I had a long trip. Next, we have my most anticipated item in this box. I am so excited to check these out. These are extended heavy-duty lower control arms. And what this is going to do is this is going to poke the lower ball joint outside, making the track width about 2 inches wider across the whole car. It comes with a poly bushing in there. This should be easy enough. The only thing is you do have to weld on a bracket for your sway bar link. But shouldn't be a big problem. I got a welder right over there, so whatever. Alright, next we have rubber brake lines. These are to replace the brake lines that come from the engine bay area down into the suspension area. The ones on there are probably factory. This front suspension is going to be getting a lot of movement, and I don't really want to have to worry about a stupid little brake leak when I paid $600 to get into a gate and drift my car. Next, we have my most dreaded part of this box. These are the Super Pro Poly rear lower trailing arm bushings. I went with these ones. They were a little bit more expensive than Classic Swede's option, his in-house option, but these ones come with new sleeves. I don't really want to mess around. I'm just going to cut the sleeves out of that one. I have a tool to press these in very easily, so that's the route I went. Spent a little bit more money to save myself some agony. Next, inside here, what do we got? Aha! Steering wheel boss kit for SRS equipped Volvo 240s. That's the important distinction. When you Google these and you're looking at them, you'll find ones without this bottom piece. You'll find them with the bottom piece. They look a lot different. They look the same, blah, blah, blah. All you really need is to go to Classic Swede, order the one right there. It says SRS equipped or not with the year ranges. It makes it so simple. eBay, I really was hesitant about ordering one just because I was sure that I was going to order one that didn't fit. And obviously I could take apart the steering column, but why when I can just order the right part the first time? Sweet. Okay, next we have the adjustable panhard bar. This is a heavy-duty panhard bar. It is adjustable. Reason I wanted the adjustable version is because I am lowering the car. When you lower the car, the panhard bar, if it's the factory length, it'll kick the axle out to the side. Panhard geometry 101. I didn't really want to have to deal with that, so I'm going to do some measurements and make this fit right. Next, I have the tie rod extensions, and what these do is these spin on to either side, extending the tie rod reach, because I am running the extended lower control arms. It's going to stretch it out 2 inches, the track width, so this also needs to be stretched out 2 inches. Next, I have a set of solid poly engine mounts. The reason I was doing this is because the engine is going to get clutch kicked a lot. Like, clutch kick the shit out of it all the time, basically. So I don't really want to deal with. I put new engine mounts in it when I rebuilt the engine, but I want these to just be. I want it to just be more solid. If I run with the hood off, I don't want it to look all janky, flopping around, because they are pretty thick, and on the factory versions, it's all rubber, so there is quite a bit of engine shake on a clutch dump. And I don't really like that. It's hard on other stuff, the drivetrain and everything like that, so that's why I went with solid mounts. Next is what I believe to be the other bushing for the panhard bar. These are Classic Swede 40mm lowering springs. And these are for the rear. These are also 40mm lowering. I wanted to lower the car level. I'm not really a fan of the rake look, and to be honest with you, I think the rake look kind of actually hurts your drift performance. I'm not a pro, but that's just kind of my opinion. Huge shout out to Dye Brace at Classic Swede. I ordered most of this from Classic Swede. He has stuff to me in record time from Europe, I swear to God. When I order like solo parts, he had those twin caliper brackets to me in 3 frickin' days from Europe. I live in Wisconsin, coming from Europe in 3 days. I told him it was rushed. He got that to me, boom. So Dye Brace, thank you so much. You make this video possible. So there you guys have it. There's pretty much everything laid out. I got a lot more coming. It's interior stuff. I got a couple NRG seats coming, deep dish. I already have the wheel boss kit and the harness bar. And some people may be asking about the harness bar. It's kind of a controversial thing. For me, for my application, once I get the NRG seats in here, the way the 240 is set up, as you can see, I'm 5'8". That seat is all the way back. I reach the pedals just fine. Once I get the deep dish steering wheel in here, it's going to extend that out even further, which puts the wheel at not optimal position. Also, that seat is completely deteriorated. So if I were to try and drift and actually get into the moment and actually, you know, try like throw myself around, use momentum, things like that, that seat will not hold me still. You flop all over the cab of this car, and it's not a fun experience. You don't have any control. So you can see where the harness bar is going to bolt up. The seat is already way far back, which puts that seat belt at about my neck if I were to come forward. So I don't really want to run the factory seat belt setting. E46 harness bars bolt right in. It's a 48-inch harness bar application. The harness bar sticks way out back there, which is where the bucket seat is going to come. It's going to hold me and my seat belt, my harness and everything in a much better position, and it makes me feel much more comfortable about drifting in this car. Thanks for coming by the channel. I'm going to be hard at work. I got a few, well, maybe, hopefully not a lot of late nights ahead of me in the shop here. I don't know how many nights it's going to take me. I do have a full-time job. I am going to be working all weekend long. So I don't know. I hope to have this car off the jack stands and all this stuff in there within the next week or so. When I do, I will have a build video. I'm going to try and keep it to about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I don't want to like put too much stuff out there. This one is a little bit different. It's kind of my channel intro and everything. Hi, thank you for stopping by. But yes, next video, I'm going to be hard at work. I'm always upgrading my shop and tools and everything like that, but I also want to start sliding. So I'm kind of prioritizing and getting there. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you next time.